In this video, I'm going to be building a product drop that has the potential to make $1 million. And I'm confident when I say this because that's exactly how much we made for just one of our clients in under 12 hours. One product, $1 million, and 40% profit margins. But it wasn't luck because we also helped another client make over $1 million in just under 30 days using the exact same system. Now, in today's video, I'm going to be showing you how this strategy works by building an entire product launch for the brand David's Protein. Because even though they're under a lot of controversy right now, they're one of the fastest growing brands in the DTC space. And they have a lot of potential when it comes to new product launches. But before we touch a single email or calendar, we have to answer the most important question, which is what should we actually launch? Now, I know that sounds obvious, but this is the step that most brands completely neglect. And when they do, the entire strategy suffers. You see, most brands choose what to launch based on what they already have. They might already have a new product that they just need to move because inventory is piling around, and they pick it based just on that. But without any feedback from the actual audience that's purchasing your products, you're making a decision based on your own bias. So what you want to do instead is actually find out what your audience wants to purchase. That can be as simple as taking your bestseller and putting a twist on it, or directly asking your email list with interactive polls. Now, in this example, we're going to be building out a new product line called Silver. And if you haven't put two and two together, it's because David's Protein already has a gold product line and a bronze product line, so the logical step would be what's in between. But that leaves us with actually building out the proper drop strategy. This is where most brands also fall apart because they think it's as easy as thinking of a new product they can release, make a few announcements, and boom, they will sell out of their launch, when in reality, it's not the case. They're left with an unengaged audience and are forced to send discount emails just to clear out that stock off their shelves, which will ultimately leave them with terrible margins. But when you approach this the right way, you end up with a surge of revenue on the singular day at full price with an audience that actually looks forward to your next launch. And the strategy we're going to use for David will be built out over a 2-week-long span. First, we'll need to incorporate educational campaigns to ensure the list is active and engaged. Then we introduce the hype runway, where we start and build anticipation around that specific product line. And then we have a launch where we have to pick an actual day to send the launch and draft up an email that converts all attention we got during that 2-week period. Now, to put this to work, I'm going to build out a live calendar for David's Protein. But before we get into the specifics of this calendar, if you want to run a drop like this and don't have the time to build it yourselves, this is exactly what we do at Nest Marketing. We've helped over 250 plus brands and built their email and SMS marketing from the ground up. And we've generated well over $175 million in client revenue just by doing it. Just like that one client who we helped generate over $1 million in under 12 hours. Now, if you want to see if we can help your brand out at all, there's a link in the description to book a call for free. We'll audit your current setup and show you exactly where money is being left on the table. So if that's something you're interested in, just book below. All right, so this is the timeline that we have built out for David's Protein. Obviously, for those of you guys that don't know their brand, they already got their gold, they already got their bronze line. We're building out the silver line for them, right? So this is a very simple example of what their actual timeline would look like for their drop, right? So their full runway is about 15 days. Total sends that we're going to do is about 8 emails, and SMS blasts we'll do along the way is around 5, and critical high priority messages are going to be 5. So this doesn't necessarily mean the entire bit of the launch is going to be just about, oh, it's our silver line. No, it's not going to be talking about the launch date the entire time. It's more so educating customers as well as letting them know that, hey, this is going to be a limited launch that we're doing. So that way they get that sense of urgency, but they won't have that sense of urgency if we don't even educate them in the first place, right? So starting off day one, say just for the sake of ease, we're starting off at April 1st, right? So day one, this is what it looks like. Value first, educational. Myth busting campaigns are great, especially for new product launches. When it's a product that goes against the grain of your normal line, this is awesome. And then of course you have your lifestyle education. So as you can see, we haven't started the hype runway just yet. This is just to sort of tease the idea of, hey, by the way, we're launching this sort of product. This is how it differentiates, right? So they already understand what it is. Now we want to actually start teasing it. So on day 7, it's the teaser drop. The reveal, which is going to be the very first email that they see of what the product is, the time, the date, the fact that we're even releasing it, right? So even in this area right here, you're not necessarily releasing the actual product and talking about the product. You're just going ahead and telling them, hey, wouldn't it be cool if we had this sort of product, right? So this goes ahead and sprinkles in that sort of thing where it's alluding to the fact that something new is coming. Day 8 is the reveal. Day 10 is the social proof plus detail. and your second hype email. Now, leading into your launch sequence, it's going to be a 24-hour countdown, and then naturally you're going to have your launch day the following day after. So as you can see, just like that, very quick sequence. Just like that, we're on day 14 and we have roughly around 7 emails sent. And then lastly, we have the post-launch follow-up, right? Now, a few things to add. There's an SMS on the 24 hours before, the ones on launch day, and on follow-up. You don't need to do this many SMS. For us, even sometimes because of the cost of the SMS, a lot of times people don't want to be doing SMS for pre-launch emails because they don't see that immediate return. So they would much rather go ahead and just do it on the launch day as well as the follow-ups, because then the customers can actually go ahead and purchase it. And when you're sending to hundreds of thousands of people, it can add up. So you don't want to be wasting money there. So just a little quick note. So that's how the actual calendar is going to look. But before we do anything, we now need to plan each and every individual campaign, because although it might seem as easy as just sending a few emails, there's a lot that goes into creating a campaign that will actually convert. And while some strategies may be similar to a typical email marketing setup, the other ones are completely different. So whether it's the subject line, the design, the copy, these things can make or break your entire launch. Now, I'm going to walk you through what I would do for David's Protein specifically. So now moving into the actual emails themselves. What do they look like? What's the contents of those emails? As we went over inside the previous timeline where we were just going over, okay, we have your value first education, myth busting stuff, lifestyle education, then you have the teaser drop, your hype emails, everything like that. In terms of the actual details of the emails within this launch, you want to make sure that you're conveying the right message for each email. You don't want each email to look and sound the same. So in doing so, even though we have this timeline right here, it matters just as much exactly what is going into each one of those emails. Now, moving into each one of these emails, if we go ahead, take a look at the value first approach, this is what we're basically doing. The protein math that most people get wrong. You're probably 80 grams short today. Myth busting, stop believing X about protein bars, where we're basically talking about CFPs, calories from protein framework, different things like that, where we're actually breaking down the science behind it. So customers will have a reason to engage. Lifestyle educational emails. So where we're actually talking about 160 grams of protein under 2,000 calories, here's how it's possible. Various things that will resonate with you as a customer. Here's the actual email copy that we can go ahead and do something like this, right? Even for our myth busting one, here's what we could talk about here. Most bars hide behind health claims, but flip them over, 12 grams of protein, 230 calories, 14 grams of sugar. It's not a protein bar, that's a candy bar with a gym membership, right? So these are things that will resonate with your customers over than just going ahead and talking about new product launch. Here it is, see you there. It's not gonna work. So now when you go ahead and release this product and you talk about the hype of it, this is what you're talking about. Something new is coming. There's a tier that you haven't seen yet. Silver, really playing into the fact that this is something that is going to fit right in between your gold and the bronze. Now, in this case, like I mentioned to you guys before, you always want to ask your customers first, but in this case, it just sort of felt right because we're talking about the silver line, right? So gold is discipline, 28 grams of protein, maximum density, zero compromise, 20 grams of protein, candy bar experience, zero guilt. But what if you didn't have to choose, right? So once again, in the nature of silver, we're releasing a product that is right in between both the calories, the protein, and of course, 0 grams of sugar. So the balancing point for everyone, for people that don't like gold and don't like bronze, at least they have silver. Now, more things that lead to the social proof. So on day 10, you're gonna be talking about, we've spent 14 months on silver, the story, the social proof, the details behind the actual launch. So believe me, for us to put together this launch for David's Protein, which we obviously don't work, we're putting in this much detail. So now think about the brands that we actually work with. We want to make sure that we're conveying a very strong message here and we're not just going all willy-nilly on what we want to send out. And then lastly, the 24 hours prior to the launch, you want to make sure that you're giving a specific date, specific time, and exactly letting them know 24 hours. So if we say 24 hours, we got to send it at 9 a.m. the previous day. Some more copy. Once again, for the basis of this video, I didn't go too in depth, but it's here. Silver line is live, 24 grams of protein, shop silver now. We don't want to be too over the top, have a bunch of copy. No, it's straight to the point. Hey, listen, we've already spoken about it. You already know what it is. We want to go ahead and launch it now. Now for the follow-up, we usually have some sort of plain text and we'll go ahead and we'll talk about how much was sold out, how many flavors were sold out, how many orders were done before X amount of time to really give that social proof to show that, hey, we're not a small brand. We actually were able to push all of this inventory in such a short amount of time. Of course, there's SMS that's tied up inside all of this, but SMS isn't too crazy. All in all, this is the exact drop timeline that we made for David's Protein, and you guys could obviously replicate it for your brand. If you have a hero product and a really good sub product, then adding in that middle point, just like we did with silver here, would be a great bout. And that's exactly how I'd build a $1 million product drop strategy for David's Protein. But if you want to see this applied to an actual client, watch this next video. I break down how we use the exact same approach to generate over $1 million for an e-commerce brand in under 12 hours. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you there.